Buddy, thank you very much. So the other big story out of San Francisco tonight, which has been making a lot of news over the course of the last week and months, the homeless crisis that continues to grow there as residents are struggling to find compassion amid concerns for their own safety and their quality of life. The problem is only getting worse in the city, and some businesses are now being forced to shutter their doors and move out. Fox News went there for a deep dive investigation. Watch this.
Why do the police let it go on right in front of them? Is it because of that bill that they passed? It made everything a misdemeanor, so it's not worth the cops' time. The Supreme Court gave a ruling that the overcrowding in the California prisons was cruel and unusual punishment.
We're now finding that homelessness is increasing, drug addiction is increasing, and the number of people here, the numbers are increasing as well.
Now this is like a homeless camp. What happens is they're building too many condominiums and kicking the people out.
High cost of living, which also pushes out affordable housing initiatives, which also pushes out homeless shelters.
Policies that the government is enforcing and promoting is the problem with homelessness. The more you give homeless people to try and help them, the byproduct of that is more homeless people.
At what point do the locals here just say, we've had enough?
Good question. Here now, Dr. Ben Carson, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Secretary Carson, good to see you. Thanks for coming back. What's your reaction to that piece that you just listened to?
Well, you know, what we really need to be talking about is common sense. We seem to have lost common sense. And what we're seeing across the country is the places that have the most regulatory barriers are the places that drive the cost up to the place where people can't afford things. And also we've lost our understanding of what real compassion is. For people who are incapable of taking care of themselves, just leaving them on the street, sleeping in their feces and vomitus, that's not compassionate. That exposes them to all kinds of germs and diseases, as well as the passers-by. So we really need to stop and take a deep breath and say, what makes sense? And those are the things that we should do. And bear in mind, this only seems to occur in places that have massive amounts of regulations.
That's fascinating. You know, I know you've thought about this. So give me just a couple of things that you think could fix San Francisco's problem. What if they were so inclined to do so? Right now they're doing 72 apartments that cost the city $700,000 a piece, and that's obviously only going to help 72 people, and who knows what happens after they move in there. But what would you advise Governor Newsom to do in San Francisco? Because people are filling out applications because they want him out.
Well, you know, we have the President's Council on Eliminating Barriers to Affordable Housing. That's what I would start doing. It's mostly the local regulations, you know, the height restrictions, the density restrictions, you know, the water lands, the environment, all of these things. We can do these in a reasonable way so that we don't drive the prices. You know, National Association of Home Builders says that more than 25% of the cost of a single-family home is regulations. For multifamily, it's up to 42%. You're never going to get a hold of it until you begin to deal with those things.
Yeah, but you heard one of the people in that piece that we just played, and other folks as well, blaming companies like Twitter and other companies that have moved into the area. You heard that one man who said, you know, well, they built all these condominiums essentially for all these high-tech jobs, and that forced people out into the street. Does that make sense to you? Do you think that's what happened?
Well, in San Francisco in particular, you know, a single individual can voice opposition to the development of something that's affordable and stop it. You know, that doesn't make any sense. We need to really
so that's they don't want it in their own backyard. They don't want affordable housing in their neighborhood. They've got billionaires living in San Francisco. So now they're dealing with this. I want to play this for you. I thought this was interesting. This woman sent a message to Governor Newsom on her way to her business. Watch this.
This video is for Gavin Newsom. I just want to tell you what happens when I get to work. I have to clean up the poop and the pee off of my doorstep. I have to clean up the syringes. I have to politely ask the people who I care for these people that are homeless, to move their tents. You want to make it comfortable for everybody except for the people that work hard and have tried their hardest to get along in life, and now we have to change that because of your laws. What are you going to do for us?
I mean, talk about common sense. I mean, those are common sense complaints that she has as a business owner.
That's exactly right. That's what common sense is all about. And we just have to start listening to everybody and not just pick a certain segment and say that we have to do everything for them. $700,000 for an apartment? How many people could you take care of? And it doesn't mean that they have to live in squalor. It mean, you know, there are wonderful, innovative techniques that have come to bear for both single family and multifamily. We cannot use them because of the regulatory barriers. We need to get rid of those or modify them in a logical and intelligent way. And that's what we're doing in other parts of the country, and hopefully we'll be doing that in California soon too.
Have they reached out to HUD and said, you know, let's get together and lower some of these regulations and make, you know, find places in our city where these people can live and sleep?
Well, there are some concessions. For instance, recently, you know, the mayor of Los Angeles released some of the restrictions on accessory dwelling units. So, I mean, there's some progress, but we got a long way to go.
Secretary Carson, great to see you. Thank you.